everybody. My name is Lindsay, and I'm the food educator for the co-op. I work, this is the Culinary Learning Center. It's at the Lebanon location, and we normally do cooking camps here, but this year we aren't able to, so I'm happy to do a program here at the Etna Library. And today I'm doing just a quick program about some snacks and even lunches that that you can make yourself. We're going to start with, I've got a couple of different ones. There's lots of variations. So if you have questions, please ask. And we've got all a bunch of different things that we're going to do that I'm going to show you. So, but actually really quickly, and you can raise your hand, you can use the thumbs up. But how many of you cook? Make your own food? Yeah? All right, good. Yeah, it's really important. It's nice to be able to feed ourselves, right? It's nice to know how to, when you're hungry, to be able to satisfy that. The first recipe I want to show you is one that, depending on, you might need your parents' help with because it does use an oven. But you can make this ahead of time. You can make them however you like, and then you've got them for a quick snack. They're great for lunch. And these are just some basically little mini calzones or like pizza roll-ups, okay? And what I did is I bought, this is a bag of like dinner rolls, and that's frozen. And these ones, you're supposed to thaw and rise them. They're little mini dough balls. So it's a little tiny dough ball like that. And they've got all different kinds. These ones, they're perfect size. So I thawed a couple of them right here. So these ones are already thawed, so they're nice and squishy. And what I do is I just take a little bit of flour, and I just pat it in the flour, not a lot. And then on my rolling mat, I just roll it out. This way, what I like about them is that you don't have to deal with a really big pizza crust, right? And you can just roll it out real easily, like this. And maybe you might stretch it a little bit with your hands, you know. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to make pepperoni ones. So this is a little bit of a mixture of Parmesan cheese and egg. Doesn't look very appetizing, but you could also use like some ricotta cheese. Don't eat this, it's raw egg. But I put a little bit of that down. And then for me, I like turkey pepperoni. So I'm going to put a couple slices, but you could put just cheese, you could put broccoli, you could put olives and peppers, whatever you like, ham and pineapple, whatever you like on a pizza. And then I'm going to take the slices of mozzarella. So you know those like sandwich slices of mozzarella. I'm going to take one of those and fold it in half. And then with a little dish of water, just to help the dough stick together, I just kind of put a little rim right around the edges, and I stretch it over, and I pinch it together. And the better you pinch it together, the more likely the cheese will stay on the inside. And it's really that easy. I have a little tiny calzone here that I'm going to put on my baking sheet. So I'll do that again really quickly because I've got one more dough ball. So I've got this little dough ball. These are just rolls. I guess you could also get those like the Pillsbury, the cans, you know, that pop. They're always so fun to bust into. And then I just roll it out. And like the bag of rolls that I have has 36 of these. So you could just make an assembly line and make like 36 little calzones. And then you have them anytime to snack on, right? You can put them in the freezer. You can heat them up in the microwave. They're good cold. I mean, I like cold pizza. I like cold pizza for breakfast. My favorite. So I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. Really easy. I'm going to use a little bit of this just makes it, you know, you can put garlic in here. This just gives it a richer flavor. You don't have to, but I'm going to add my pepperoni. I'm going to do like 4 slices. I'm going to take 1 slice of cheese. Not the paper. Fold that up. Take some water and just rub it around the outside. And if you wanted to, I mean, you could make dessert ones. you know, cut up some strawberries. Blueberries are right now. I'll make little mini pies. I wouldn't add the Parmesan egg thing though, but you know, you can get very creative. So I'm gonna put that on my baking sheet. I have my oven on. It is at 400 degrees, so you may need to get an adult's help depending on because that's a really hot oven. And it goes in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And I already made some. So you can see I didn't close up my, right here, I didn't close it up very well, so the cheese leaked out, but that's all right, because that's like crispy, yummy cheese. But these are like little pizza pockets. And those are great to take in your lunch or eat them for a snack. And again, you can make any kind that you like. So these are one of my favorites because you can make a whole bunch at one time. And that's one of the first things I was going to show you. One of my other favorites to make is hummus. And I don't know if any of you like hummus, but I love hummus. And it's actually so easy to make. I'm going to adjust my camera here so you can see my blender. And I just use it in a blender. So this, again, get permission. The camera might fall. From your parents to use a blender. But I forgot to open my can. But it just takes a can of chickpeas. You can actually make black bean hummus or white bean hummus. It just need a can of beans. Maybe not kidney beans. I've never tried that one. But it's really simple. And then my can opener is losing power. Yeah, so sometimes I need to go around 2 or 3 times. Does anybody here eat hummus? Does anyone like it? Yeah? All right. So now in the can, there's all that juice and water, so we don't want that. So it's really easy. I'm going to just go over to my sink, I don't know if you can see, and just kind of pour it off. You don't have to worry about it too much. And then in the blender goes the can of chickpeas. Then we're going to use, I'm going to bring my ingredients over here so I can reach them. Move some of these other things out of the way. So then I'm going to add in a clove of garlic. And I buy my cloves of garlic like this from the co-op. So I'm just going to take off that little end. So I can just do it with my finger. Actually, I like garlic, so I'm going to put in 2 cloves. But I will tell you that garlic and mask wearing is not the best combination. And then we have what's called tahini. This is a sesame seed paste. It's what gives hummus the really distinct flavor. You put in, I don't know, I just put in a spoonful. I start there, because then you want to always taste your food and adjust. So I'm going to put in like 2 spoonfuls like that. I'm going to use in some lemon juice. So fresh squeezed lemon juice is great, but this is also just as easy. So I have a bottle of fresh, pure lemon juice. I'm going to give it a little bit. I like mine lemony. And I'm going to use just a little bit of olive oil. You can also add spices like cumin or pepper. If you like it more smoky, you can get very creative with hummus. You can add roasted red peppers. There's all sorts of flavors. And then I'm going to turn my blender on. Oops. Just like making a smoothie. You want it to wait and see until it starts going around. And if you have to, sometimes I shake the blender just to give it some help. And now, this is where if you do cook at home, this is the chef part. You have to taste it, and you taste for seasoning. So I use a little taster spoon here, and I'm going to taste it and see what it needs. And I know right away what it needs because it's the one thing I didn't add, and it's one of the most important ingredients to always add, and that is salt. Okay, so here at the co-op and in most chefs, we salt by hand. We don't use a salt shaker. Salt shakers are for the table. We want to use kosher or sea salt, so like a big salt that you can grab and you pick up. And this is a chef's pinch where I use all 4 fingers, right? Can you see that? And I kind of salt up high. That'll spread it around. And that's not a ton. That's probably about maybe half a teaspoon that I put in there. But now I gotta shake it around, give it some. That salt spread through. And it's a little thick for me, so I'm gonna add some olive oil. If I can get this to stay on. Yep. Now I'm gonna add some pepper. All right. And that's it. That's all it takes to make hummus. It's really easy. And again, you can add, once you learn how to make the basic hummus, I'm going to taste it again. I love it. It's perfect. Be careful getting it out of the blender. Remember, there's blades down the bottom. So use a long spatula or something, and then soak your blender, okay? Usually, if I hurt myself or if I cut myself, it's when I'm cleaning it. So be really careful cleaning it. All right, that's hummus, and now you've got something. You can spread it on toast. You can eat it with carrot sticks. You know, I can put hummus. I can eat hummus off a spoon. I love it. All right, I'm just gonna move some things out of the way here. I'm gonna put these guys in the oven. And I'm gonna adjust my camera again. So that's 2 recipes. I also, you know, in times of snacks when we want something to eat right away, it's, you know, sometimes we don't want to make something, even though that hummus took what, like 5 minutes to make? Not very hard, right? But one of my favorites is, I actually love rice cakes, and I love these apple cinnamon ones, and I like to put peanut butter on them and some fruit. But I also like to just sometimes make a dressed up banana. And what do I mean by that? So I'm gonna, my dressed up banana, again, this is, you can get super creative and have a lot of fun. I'm gonna take a banana and, oops, I forgot to buy berries, but normally I would put berries on it, especially right now, because I don't know about you, but in the blueberries in my backyard are really nice and ripe, so I can go out and pick some of those. And we've got raspberries, but a dressed up banana, you know, I just kind of cut it open, and then I can add I can add my toppings, and that would be like maybe some honey. I've got a little bit of honey here. You can add honey or maple syrup, something like that. I have some toasted coconut. Toasted coconut's always nice. I usually have some berries. I knew I forgot to buy something. Add some berries to this. If you want, you could even add some, you know, little chocolate chips, because chocolate's good for you in moderation, right? And this is a really easy snack. Now we've got all sorts of, we've got fruits, we've got sugar. This is, you know, you could add nuts to it if you like to eat nuts. You could add peanut butter, all of that, really easy. And then it's just not just a plain old banana, right? Because sometimes a plain old banana is boring. Although a plain old banana is easier. This is a lot messier. But I like a dressed up banana. If I'm doing a campfire, then I like to put this in foil and put a lot of stuff on there and put that in the campfire. Yeah, a roasted banana. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. So, all right. One of the other recipes I have for you is kind of like that. These are peanut butter no-bake cookies, okay? And not everybody can eat peanut butter, so you can use your nut or seed butter of your choice. So I'm actually going to use sunflower butter. So this is made from sunflower seeds. So if you're not sure, if you have friends over, or I know a lot of schools don't allow you to have nuts in them. And so I've learned to just make things with sunflower seeds, no matter what, even when I'm not in school, like we're not right now. This is a really easy recipe. I'm just going to take a little bit of peanut butter, or this is, sorry, sunflower butter. I also like this on those rice cakes. And I'm going to add, this is coconut oil. You can use coconut oil, you can use milk, you could use butter, but this helps to give it some stability when they harden. So I'm going to add in like a spoonful of that. And I found all these recipes online. A lot of times I just I've made them so I don't follow a recipe anymore. But if you want to, just look up no-bake cookies. They're a really great way to get protein, to have something sweet. So we're going to use those. We use a little bit of rolled oats. So, you know, oatmeal. So I'm just going to put in a handful of oatmeal. And then, of course, you want things that make it a little bit, we might use, this time I'm using a little bit of maple syrup. Not a lot. Maybe, if I can open the maple syrup. That's going to help it stick together. And now I'm going to put all this in the microwave for 1 minute, okay? And we're going to start, and a little pinch of salt. Actually, even though we've got that seed butter in there, a lot of times this is an all-natural one. A lot of times they don't have added salt, and you need salt. I just made bread. In fact, I was up at 3 this morning baking bread, and I realized that I forgot to put the salt in my bread, and it's very sad. So, all right, so I'm going to put this in my microwave for 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, and then once we get that back, if it should be heated up enough that we can mix it. And if it's not, then I'll put it in. And I like to, if I'm using the microwave just to heat things gently, to do it about 30 seconds or 1 minute at a time, because microwaves work very quickly. Then all we're going to do is, you can actually add some other fun stuff. So this is, I'll do this one. This is like maple sugar. You know, here I made my own ginger sugar. I just took ground ginger and mixed it with regular white sugar. This is ginger sugar, so it's a nice sprinkle on stuff. This would also be really good on my bananas. You can do the same thing, you know, the way you make cinnamon sugar, like if you ever make cinnamon toast. So I do that with ginger and cardamom, other spices. You can get really creative. And then, so I have I'm just gonna have a little plate here. I'm gonna put down a piece of parchment paper. I'm gonna grab my mixture. And we can see that everything is sort of melted, that nut butter is loosened up a little bit, and we're just gonna mix it all together. That coconut oil has melted, but remember, it's solid at room temperature. So And you just want to get it all mixed in together. You know what would be really good in this? Chocolate chips. So we're going to add some. Or, ooh, and how about some dried cranberries? Because they're here. So now I've got fruit and chocolate and oats. You could add coconut. I mean, you can add and all that good stuff. And and look, the chocolate's melting from the heat, which is good. It's gonna make these guys. I forgot to make some of these ahead of time, so I don't have a magic refrigerator on them. Add a little bit more oats. This is a little loose. See how I have a lot of extra liquid in there? Can you see that? So I want to make sure that, you know, I might add a little bit more nut butter or more oats, because when I scoop it out, I want them to hold their shape. There we go. See how that's now tightening up a little bit? Maybe I'll add more of this. I don't have much left. Add a little bit more of that. It's not heated up, but. And it's always worth tasting before you make sure you have if you didn't forget something. You could even add a little bit of vanilla, or I wouldn't add too many different extracts. There's a lot of flavors going on in here. But I don't want to do it off my working spoon, so I always use a tasting spoon so I don't spread my germs. So now, I have it in my mouth. I'm just going to take mounds of it like this, and I've added on my parchment paper on my plate. See that? I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, or you can put them in the freezer. And they're going to tighten up, and you've got no-bake cookies. And again, they've got protein in them, you've got some grains, you've got, if you add dried fruit, you know, a little tiny bit of chocolate. I mean, that was only like 8 chocolate chips. I'll put these in the freezer. We'll see if they'll freeze up real fast. Those ones may not travel very well. If you want them to, you want to take them in your backpack for like a hiking trip. I heard someone's going to Storrs Pond a lot, right? You might want to add a little bit more coconut oil. That's what's going to make them more solid at room temperature. Okay. All right. There's one more recipe I'm going to show you. I put those pizza rolls in my oven now. Yeah. Look at that. Those are done. Oops. It's kind of hard to see. It's really hot pan. But easy. Easy to make. I've got hummus. Okay. The last one that I'm going to show you, and I don't know, but when I was a kid, ranch dressing was all the rage. That's all we liked. And as an adult, I still love ranch dressing, but I really don't like. Do you like ranch dressing? Anybody? Yes. But I don't like the stuff out of the bottles. It doesn't taste very good to me. So I like to make my own, and it's super easy. So, and again, this is where you get to be creative with what you have at home. So I always start with yogurt, because I always have yogurt in my refrigerator, and I always have like Greek or plain yogurt. So that's what I start with. And actually, I'll just use this spatula. And sometimes if I just use yogurt, If I have mayonnaise, I might add a little bit of mayonnaise. If I have buttermilk, I might add a little bit of buttermilk. It helps to loosen it up a little bit. If it's too thick, you could add some cream. But if you're making a dip for like vegetables, you may not want it to be really thin. So I start with yogurt. Today I'm going to add in a little bit of mayonnaise. Let's see if it'll come out. So I guess if I take the top off. Coming out. Not a lot, not equal parts, but you know, 2 or 3 tablespoons maybe. Now it's 1 cup of yogurt. We'll kind of mix those together. And then this is where you get to have fun. You get to add spices. All right. So a lot of ranch, one of the standards is that there's usually dill. So fresh dill or dried dill. Oh, this is an unopened dill. This is a brand new one. Sorry about that. Okay. And I'm going to add in probably just like, I'm going to start with a pinch, a good pinch of dill. If you don't like dill, don't put it in. It's that easy. That's what it's nice about when you make it yourself. You get to add the flavors that you like, and you don't have to add the things you don't like. Another standard for ranch dressing would be some garlic powder. So this one's easier if you use a measuring spoon. I'm going to use probably about ½ a teaspoon of garlic powder. You could also chop up fresh garlic, maybe not ½ a teaspoon, about 1/4 teaspoon. It's only a cup of yogurt there. And onion powder is another common. And then after that, things kind of vary. These are your standard 3. I really like to add celery seed. I like the saltiness of celery seed. This one also is not open. Look at that. That's not the good way to do it. You don't want to add too much of this. It is a little salty, so I'm going to add in about maybe 1/4. Go light. You can always add more. It's much harder to take it out. I always like parsley, so I'm going to add in some dried parsley. And right now, my herb garden is starting to, so if I have all these fresh out in my herb garden, I can chop them up. I'm going to add in some oregano. You can add in cumin. You can add in, if you wanted smoky, paprika. And then you just mix it all up. I also often like to add in a few vegetables to my ranch dressing. One of my favorite restaurants down in Pennsylvania, they actually have shredded carrots in their ranch dressing. I love it. So I'm going to add in a little bit. These are more of like carrot sticks. They're not quite shredded, but I like it right in the dressing. You could add chopped up spinach, you know, make it kind of a spinach dressing. And even though I added celery seeds, so I want to taste it before I add salt. Still need salt. Yep. So we salt by hand. And I'm going to get a chef's pinch, which is my 4 fingers, right? And I always salt up high. That way it gets all over the dish. That's probably about enough. We're going to give it some fresh pepper. You could add in some arugula, you could add in spinach, you could chop up artichoke hearts. You can have a lot of fun. Fresh, I've got some, one of these guys, these are like half dry. I'm going to add in a little bit of basil to mine. And that's it. That's all it takes. And now you've got a ranch dressing that is to your liking, to your flavors, and you don't have all of those preservatives and weird flavors that I think are in the bottle stuff. You get a new tasting spoon. That is perfect. So right there, I've made like 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that recipes. I'm going to stop sharing now. And that are all really, oh, how much egg and Parmesan in the mixture? That's a great question. It was 1 egg and half a cup of Parmesan. And let's see, I kind of use that bowl's. And I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have a little bit left, not much. So if say you're going to make the whole bag, use 2 eggs and a cup of Parmesan. You want it to be sort of a thick mixture. You don't want it to be really eggy. I'll go back to let me go to my other camera really quickly, and I'll hold it up to that. So you see how that's kind of, it's a thick, pasty mixture. That's what you're looking for, not something that's super eggy. The other alternative is to use ricotta cheese, which is what a lot of times in pizza places, they put ricotta cheese in their calzones. That's a great question. Are there any other questions?